So I'm going to be giving you my biased answer first, then I'll give you the real one. And my biased answer is yes, start a business. The real answer, the one that experience, life, and some painful experiences have taught me is this: do both. And I say this because I have a story that I need to tell you before we go further. A story about what happens when you decide to choose one or the other. It's a story about when you decide to go all in on your dreams before you have built a foundation that is required to support that dream. So stay with me because this one is important. Hello and welcome to another episode of Hello Misola. We have a letter today, and today's letter says, Hello Misola, I'm actively thinking about how to make money and stop delaying my dreams. Would it be better to start a business or get a job that pays very well? I love this because it says delaying my dreams. And I know that there are so many of us that are immigrants that are sitting on a dream for a very long time. So this person is done waiting. They are in motion mentally. They just need to figure some things out and know which direction to run in. So let's try to figure this out together. First things first, let me tell you the truth. Let's talk about what happened to me in 2019. I started an online business coaching company and I was excited, like this is it. And in my head, I was excited because this is the thing. This is the moment. This is my breakthrough. Like everything I was doing brought me for such a time as this. So I quit my job. And not only did I quit my job, I refused to apply for anything. And at that point in time, I was so immersed in all these business coaches on social media who are like, I quit my job and I made 1 million in 6 months. I made this in 12 months. I made that. It was just money, money, money. That was all that was in my head. And how I'm going to make it like these people made it. This person did it in 6 months. I'm going to do it in 6 months. And I was absolutely convinced. There was no way you could convince me otherwise that if this launch did not bring in 6 figures, it was going to be the next launch. And it was going to be the next launch. Whatever happens, it would not go more than the next 3 to 6 months. And I will be one of those people that will be like, oh, I was silent for my Facebook, like to family and friends, but see, I made 6 figures in my last launch. That was me. That was like the dream I had in my head. And that was why I was all in for business. And what would you tell me about a job? What? So, fun fact is, I remember one time during COVID, my sister was like, are you going to suspend all these things that have to do with this business you're talking about and go get a job? And honestly, I looked at her, I was like, what? Do you not have this dream? Like, you're my family. Do you not believe in me? In my head, look here, I was like, how can you tell me this to close my business, to shut my business down? But now in hindsight, I see that, yeah, what she could see, I couldn't see it, right? So yeah, that's a story inside a story. Anyway, here is the thing I did not stop to think about. Number one, I'm an immigrant. And at that point, I was not married. So it wasn't like I had a partner who would be able to, put food on the table, pay the bills while I'm like, okay, let me go all in myself and then make this business work. It was just me. And I didn't have parents who live here. And I could just say, I'm not paying rent anymore and I'm going to move in with my parents and then they will be able to help me. I didn't have that. So what happened? I now started showing up for sales calls, yes. But there was that pressure, there was that anxiety because everybody that is a prospective lead, I didn't look at them from the lens of being a prospective lead. All they looked to me like the next rent bill that needed to be paid, the next council tax that needed to be paid. So it took away the essence of that and entrepreneurship, which is where you need to establish a win-win situation. So yes, they had a challenge that they were talking to me about, but I was not looking at how I could help them. And I was not listening because they were probably and most likely saying things that I could not help them with, but I would suit my offer, bend everything to make sure that I get those calls or I get those sales, I close that sale. And do you know the reality? Desperation can be sensed, it can be smelt from afar off. When you're desperate, people can feel it. You cannot hide it. It comes through conversation. So essentially, what this means is I could not show up fully for people I was talking to. You don't have to be a client for me to be able to help you. But all I was thinking about was the money. And if I'm being honest, I never ever want to be in that shoe again. I would never do it. No. So I'm telling you this not to kill your dream or to talk you out of building your dream or, living that dream life. I am telling you this because I want you to build your dream on a foundation that can actually hold it. A new business is like a new baby that was born 3 months ago, and you're putting so much pressure on that baby to work. Even if your business brings in money, it's not time for you to start spending that money, on your living expenses in the first 6 months. You need to grow, and there is no way that business will outlive you or last beyond a few years if you're treating your business like that. Now, these things are not all black and white. Absolutely not. There are people who have got all in with their business with nothing but grit behind them, and it has worked. They've made it work for themselves. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but here's what I'm saying. Know your circumstances and consider what you actually have. Because the decision that was right for them might not be right for you. I always need to remember to put this caveat because I don't want to be like all those people that be like, come and steal this strategy and this is how I was able to do this and this is how I was able to do that. Everybody's circumstances is so dynamic. So you need to consider your own personal circumstances. And further down the line, the other things you need to consider. So let me say this as I'm wrapping up my own thoughts and my own truth and what I'm saying. A high-paying job and a business, they're not enemies. They can run concurrently. The job funds that dream, and eventually the dream replaces the job. Now that's not failure. That's a strategy I like, and I will back it any day, anytime. Okay, so before I give you any strategy, let's talk about the kingdom perspective. Let's hear what God has to say. And so I want to ask you something. What is your father saying about this? Have you taken this question to your father and just asked him? Because he's the one that has the blueprint for your life. So why are we talking to any other person apart from God? And so let me take that back because no, it doesn't mean that you can't talk to any other person. He should be the first person that should give you a blueprint. And then based off of that blueprint, let me give you a slight example. I know there are too many stories in today's video because I've lived this too much. So when my business was not going well, I realized that I just kept switching strategies. Today is one-to-one. Tomorrow they are digital products. Tomorrow is group coaching. Tomorrow it's a membership. Tomorrow is not a course. And then I would say, oh, marketing. Today is paid ads. Tomorrow, no, I want to use organic marketing and all of that. If I have a blueprint, meanwhile, the Holy Spirit is very intentional. So he'll tell you exactly if this is what you should do or what you shouldn't do. But I didn't have a plan. I didn't even know what I was in. Let me tell you what I wanted. I wanted to make 1 million. And that was all I was gunning for. I didn't know what the blueprint was. That was the only way I could do it. And I was just getting frustrated. So the point I'm making here is he is the one that has the blueprint for your life. He's the only person that should first of all give you a master plan. Now, when you start breaking down that plan, you're able to now filter out and say, okay, this is the master plan. Then influencer marketing is not for me because these are the products. This is my audience. This is who they are. They are not going to be here. They're going to be there. So those are things that you would know once you have a blueprint for your life and for your business. And that blueprint comes from God because he cannot lead you astray. So the scripture for today is 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7. And I'm reading it from the Amplified Version. It says, casting all your cares, all your anxieties, all your worries, and all your concerns once and for all on him, for he cares about you with deepest affection and watches over you very carefully. I really love this because it's talking about the undying love of the Father to us. Now, let me not repeat and try to explain what that scripture is saying. It's as simple as it is. So please, as always, meditate on it. And whatever you get from that season of meditation or that period of meditation, take it and run with it. So I can already hear you saying, I have asked, but I'm still not clear. I've not heard anything. I've asked God. If you're saying that, I want to say this to you. Keep reading because the strategy section that we're going into next is for you. Because clarity, in my experience, does not come before the action. It comes because of the action. Clarity comes by doing. So you ask, you trust that he has heard you and he has answered you, and you move. And guess what? He meets you on the way. All right, so let's go to the strategy. Here are 5 steps I want you to imbibe, to inculcate, and to get started with. Step 1, get some sort of stable income first. If you have a stable income, if you have a job that is paying you something, then that's perfect. But if you don't, you need money to pay your bills. Get a stable job. And guess what? You need money to build a business. Forget all those posts where you see online where they say how to start a business with zero. I've not seen any that works well. You need money to start a business. A business without capital is a hobby that has not paid you yet. So before you do anything else, if you do not already have stable income, that's your number 1 goal right now. Because building a business from a place of financial desperation changes the energy completely. The way you approach your business, the eyes you use to look at your business is different. The decisions you make and the quality of everything you put out, we can smell desperation. Ask me how I know. I probably won't answer you. Okay, so let's move on to step 2. Upskill and go for the higher income role if you can. So while you're sorting stability, do not just settle for any role. If there's a version of your career that pays significantly more, why don't you reach out for it? Go get it. And if what you need to get it is the right training and positioning, the world is your oyster. Go for it. Now, the higher your income, the more fuel you have for the dream. And if that's something you're thinking about, I have created a video on how people land this 120K product manager job. So it's more about how to get this high income jobs, this higher paid roles. And I'll put that link as well so that you can watch it. Step 3, start the business and get your proof of concept. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because guess what? There is none. When it comes to entrepreneurship and your business, the earlier you start, the better. So, like they say, yesterday was the best time to start, today is the next best time. And especially when you have a job, start. Because all I've been talking about, it means that you know that your bills are paid. You've got a roof over your head, and you're going to put your all that energy to growing the business and whatever comes in from the business. Because you're not dependent on that to survive, you then have the ability to plow it back into the business to grow that business faster. So start while it's imperfect. And what you're looking for at this stage is not 6 figures. Don't worry, the 6 figures will come. It's a proof of concept. Can you get a paying customer? Is this a solution to a problem that somebody is willing to pay for? Those are the questions that you need to answer at this stage. And then when you have your proof of concept, you now have something to build on. So for your very first stage when you're starting the business, this is what you need to think about. And when you get that first sale, you don't just have an idea. Now you have a business. So start the business and find out which one you have. Step 4, be consistent and diligent. Doing both, I must confess, is not easy. Not just doing both, but doing it excellently well. I'm not going to pretend that it is, because there will be early mornings, there will be late nights. Sometimes you feel like you're working 3 jobs for the price of one. And there are days, especially in the beginning, where you'll be so tired, but you see something about consistency. That is the thing that makes a difference in a business. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not a viral moment. It is consistency. So I beg you, even when you don't feel like showing up because you cannot get results, it is the person that gives up that loses in the end. Keep going. Consistency is where God is going to meet you. And guess what? You are an immigrant. You can do hard things. I mean, you left your country and you're building in another country, in a foreign land. You navigated a system that was not built for you. And you are a child of God. You have grace. You have the backing of your Father. You can do it. It's going to be hard, but manage. Keep going. It says Yakubu, manage. And step 5, I've said this before, but it's in one of the steps as your strategy. Filter all of these things to your personal circumstances. Please do not treat anything I say on this channel, not just this video, as absolute doctrine. I want you to listen to me. I want you to take heed to the things that I say, because most of them, I've been in that shoe before, and I want it to go well for you. And I have that experience, I have the expertise to tell you that this is probably the right way. But it needs to be run through the filter of your real life. And a typical example is, yes, I'm saying have both. But your current visa, will it allow you to do that? Do you have a visa that can allow you to start a business while still being in your job? If you do, absolutely. If you don't, these are things you need to filter. However, one thing I know is that you can never be in a situation where you cannot take action. I have a video where I was talking about, I think it's the one where I'm waiting for my ILR before I start my business. I'll check and I'll probably put the link. Because what I said is, you do not need a visa to research, to map out the plan for your business. You also do not need a visa to upskill. It might not be the ideal thing that you need to do right now, but you have to be doing something. Okay, so now that I've said that, here is the reset I want to leave you with today. You get clearer when you take action, not when you think about it, when you take action. So I want to ask you one question before I close out this video. What is the one thing that you can get started and start doing right now, today? Not when the time is right, not when the money is ready, right now, today. Whatever it is, pick one thing and do it today, because your dream would not wait for the perfect conditions. And so you shouldn't, because there's no such thing as that anyway. It's an illusion. And so you've got this, and I'm rooting for you. So if you've watched me to this point and you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to Hello Misola. I would love for you to join this community. Let's build and grow this community. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, click the like button and share this with someone who you know. It would be helpful. It will be very beneficial to them. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.